Boyd, I'm really sorry, but you need to see this. Trevor's voice shook as he shoved his phone into my hands. My stomach twisted before I even looked. Deep down, I knew something was coming, but I wasn't ready for this. I tapped play, and in a second, my entire world shattered. There she was, Madison, my wife, sprawled across Derek's desk, her legs open, laughing. Derek, her new boss, that smug piece of shit, stood over her, peeling off his tie like he was getting ready for a board meeting in hell. She didn't resist. She didn't flinch. She looked excited. She was smiling like the last 8 years of our life together were some bad punchline. I didn't breathe, didn't blink. The sounds, the angle, the lighting, it wasn't some sketchy, grainy footage. It was HD, crystal clear like Betrayal in 4K. It was a masterclass in humiliation, and I was front row center. And then, her voice. Soft, seductive. You're so much better than him. She wasn't talking about an ex. She was talking about me. Something inside me snapped. My brain fuzzed out. Everything went silent. I didn't even notice Trevor slowly backing out of the office, giving me space. The phone was still in my hand, but my breath was locked somewhere between my lungs and throat. My heart pounded like it was trying to crack open my ribcage. One thought, white hot and burning, scorched itself into my mind. I will destroy them. I don't remember walking out of the building. Don't remember starting the car. All I remember was white knuckles on the steering wheel, gripping it so hard I thought it would crack. Every red light mocked me. Every honk was a scream in my skull. By the time I pulled into the driveway, I wasn't a husband anymore. I was a man stripped bare by betrayal, and all that was left was rage. I opened the door. She was humming. Fucking humming in the kitchen. Wearing my hoodie, flipping pancakes like she wasn't a scandalous thumbnail away from being fired and divorced. The same lips that whispered to Derek how good he was were now mouthing along to some love song on the radio. She turned, saw me, smiled. Hey babe, you're home early. I didn't speak. I just tossed the phone onto the kitchen island. It landed screen up, paused at the exact frame where she arched her back and bit her lip. Her smile dropped. What's that? You tell me, I growled. My voice didn't even sound like mine. She stepped closer, squinting at the screen, and then it hit her. The color drained from her face. Boyd, I can explain. No, don't insult me. Just tell me how long. A week? A month? Tears welled up in her eyes. Big mistake. I'd seen the video. I knew what fake looked like now. She was good at faking. It wasn't supposed to happen, she stammered. He was just there. We were working late, and... Stop. Just stop. That sleazy asshole did in 7 days what I spent years building with you. And you let him do it on his damn desk. Do you even realize what that makes you look like? Her lip trembled. It was a mistake. No, Madison. A mistake is forgetting to feed the dog. This was a choice. A conscious, disgusting choice. She backed up, the fear finally hitting. Are you going to hit me or something now? She snapped, venomous. You think you're the victim? Maybe if you weren't always so boring. Snap. I lost it. Not on her. On the cabinet. My fist slammed into the wood hard enough to split my knuckles and crack the door. She flinched like I hit her. I didn't say another word. I didn't trust myself to. I turned and walked out. The door slammed behind me, so hard the frame trembled. Just like our marriage. I drove 2 blocks. Parked. Sat there. Fist bleeding. Mind spinning. The betrayal replayed on loop. That desk. That smile. That moan. My phone buzzed. Madison. I let it ring. Then again. Again. Voicemails. Texts. Please come home. We need to talk. You're scaring me. She should be scared. I should have blocked her. But I didn't. Instead, I went to the one place she lived more than our home. Her Instagram. And what I saw made me sick. Flirty emojis under Derek's posts. Arm around his shoulder. Head tilted just right. His hand lower than it should have been on her back. The same photos I used to double tap with a proud husband grin. She'd been warming up to him for months. Flirting. Testing the waters. Derek just happened to be the one she dove in with. And I'd been the idiot on the shore. I played her voicemail. Boy, please. I know I messed up. It meant nothing. You're the one I love. I regret it. I swear. Lie. I saw her face in that video. She didn't regret it. She enjoyed every damn second. And now I was going to make sure she regretted ever thinking I wouldn't find out. I could feel her presence behind me even before she spoke. Madison had this way of standing just close enough to stir the air, but far enough to not touch it. She lingered, waiting for me to turn, waiting for a moment of softness that would never come. Boyd, she finally said, her voice small. Please don't do anything rash. You're not thinking clearly. I kept my eyes on the wall. I wasn't about to give her the satisfaction of seeing my face. You have no idea how clearly I'm thinking right now, I replied, my voice as sharp as broken glass. She sniffled behind me. I messed up, I know, but we had 8 good years. That has to mean something, doesn't it? I slowly turned, my face emotionless. It did, until you torched it all on a cheap desk with a cheaper man. Madison flinched like I'd slapped her. Maybe the truth hit harder than any fist ever could. She looked down, wiping tears that had no effect on me anymore. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered. You didn't mean for me to find out, I corrected. There was a long silence between us. The kind of silence where everything still echoes. Every laugh she shared with him, every moan, every word of betrayal. What are you going to do? She asked. I studied her for a moment. The desperation in her eyes was unmistakable. It was the same look I'd had when I watched that damn video. The look of someone realizing too late just how much they had to lose. I'm going to make sure you never forget what you did, I said simply. You wanted attention, Madison? You're going to get it. Just not the kind you can delete or filter. She stepped back, visibly shaken. You're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my study with a bottle of bourbon and 1,000 thoughts tearing through me like a storm. My dog curled up near my feet, the only creature in the house who hadn't betrayed me. I stared at the wall and made a promise. Not to forgive, not to forget, but to reclaim everything I'd lost, piece by piece. And it started now. The next morning, I sent the footage to Amanda. No words, no explanations, just the video and a single line. You deserve the truth. Her reply came within minutes. Thank you. He always denied it. Now I know. That was it. No anger, no drama, just quiet closure. And somehow, that made it more powerful. Later that day, I went to see my lawyer again. Jennifer Green was a force of nature in a blazer. Calm, precise, and deadly when needed. She reviewed my documents, nodded, and started building the case like a surgeon with a scalpel. We'll go after everything, she said. And we'll do it fast. I signed the papers. When I got home, Madison was in the kitchen, crying again. She didn't say anything, just watched me with red-rimmed eyes as I dropped the documents on the counter. You'll be served officially next week, I said flatly. But you can consider yourself notified. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Whatever excuses she had left, even she didn't believe them anymore. I left her there. I didn't look back. Madison tried to act like everything was normal, but she felt it. The warmth was gone. The smiles were polite, not affectionate. The conversations were shallow, not curious. And the man who used to beg to be let back in her heart, he had built a home somewhere else. Inside himself. I didn't hate her, but I had nothing left for her. Not attention, not explanations, not hope. And when a man with a good heart finally goes quiet, not out of spite, but because he's emotionally bankrupt, there's no speech, no apology, no last-minute hug that can bring him back. Because his absence isn't born in an instant. It's forged in silence, in indifference. In 1,000 little moments, he was overlooked. It didn't happen with a breakdown. No dramatic scene. No movie-style moment. It started with a tap on my shoulder one night. I was lying in bed, turned to the wall, not asleep, not restless, just calm. Steady. Distant. She placed her hand on my back like she used to. The way she hadn't in weeks, maybe months. And softly, she whispered, "Can we just hold each other tonight?" I didn't flinch. Didn't answer right away. Because here's the truth. I had imagined that moment so many times before. Dreamed of her reaching for me. Finally realizing I was slipping. Finally choosing me again. But when it came, it was too late. Her touch didn't feel like home anymore. It felt foreign. Not because I stopped loving her, but because I started loving myself more. Still, I nodded. I let her. She slid closer and wrapped her arms around me like nothing had changed. But everything had. She sighed like she was finally safe and said, "I miss this." I didn't answer, because I didn't miss it. I didn't miss the version of us she wanted to remember. I missed who we could have been before she burned it all down. That night, I stared at the ceiling while she clung to me, thinking, she doesn't want me. She wants the comfort of knowing I'm still available, that I haven't left. The next morning, she made coffee for both of us. For the first time in forever, she slid the cup across the table like it was some peace offering, smiled a little and said, "Thought you could use one." I took it, sipped it, said thanks, but I didn't feel anything shift. No rush of hope, no pull to lean in, because it wasn't about coffee. It was about timing. Where was this when I was breaking silently? When I came home with tired eyes and a full heart only to be met with cold replies. Where was this version of her when I just needed a sign that I still mattered? Now that I'd stopped trying, she was trying. Now that my silence was louder than her apathy, she was speaking gently. Now that I'd emotionally checked out, she was checking back in. But that's the thing about people who take your love for granted. They only notice the fire when it's already ashes. She started wearing that perfume I used to love, played our favorite songs when I was around, sat closer to me on the couch. But I stayed in my lane. I didn't move, didn't engage, because I knew what it was. It wasn't love. It was fear. Fear that I'd finally detached. And she was right. I had. The door didn't slam. There was no big exit. I just stopped opening it. And that quiet decision, that subtle shift in energy, spoke louder than any argument could have. Because when a man leaves without raising his voice, it means he's already screamed every word in his head and realized none of them matter anymore. I opened the door halfway. She looked terrible, barefoot, smeared makeup, one of my old hoodies hanging off her like a disguise. I didn't move, didn't soften. What are you doing here, Madison? She stumbled forward a step. I need to talk. No, you need to leave. Boy, please. I've been suspended without pay. Derek's gone. He resigned. I'm completely screwed. Her voice cracked and wavered. I didn't blink. And I should care because she took another step, her voice desperate now. I made a mistake. A selfish, reckless mistake. But I love you, I still do. I laughed. Full, sharp, bitter. You don't love anyone but yourself. You loved attention, drama, that fake boss babe power trip. You only realize what's missing when it's gone. Her mask shattered. You think you were perfect? You think you were some ideal husband? You were cold, distracted, distant. I didn't flinch. Don't you dare try to flip this. You cheated. You lied. You smiled at my face while he had his hands all over you. She went quiet. For a second, the world felt still. And then I asked it, the one question I hadn't allowed myself until now. Why him, Madison? She looked down, her voice barely a whisper. He made me feel wanted, like I was still exciting. I shook my head slowly. 8 years of loyalty gone. Just like that. It faded, she said, and I didn't know how to tell you. Even now, scorched earth beneath our feet, that honesty still stung more than her silence ever did. Well, now I know. She reached out. I stepped back. You need to go. Where am I supposed to stay? Not my problem. She broke, collapsed onto the steps like her legs had finally caught up with her shame. Sobbing, rocking back and forth, clutching herself. I watched her cry, expressionless. The man who would have helped her, comforted her, was gone. He died the second she opened her legs for someone else. I closed the door. Behind me, I heard her scream into the night. But I didn't look back. By the weekend, I filed the divorce papers. My lawyer was a shark. Ruthless. Surgical. Just what I needed. We were coming for everything. House, assets, and the upper hand. And we were going to expose the affair in court to make damn sure she didn't touch a cent more than she deserved. When we walked into that beige conference room, I barely recognized her. Hair tied back, blazer too big, eyes hollow. Like she tried to tape herself back together with whatever scraps were left. Me? I wore the same watch she gave me on our 3rd anniversary. Not because it meant anything, but because I wanted her to see it. I wanted her to remember who she betrayed. Her lawyer was shaky, soft-voiced. Mine, Jennifer Green, was a machine. She didn't blink. Not when Madison cried. Not when she tried to interrupt. Not even when the word footage came up. Jennifer laid it all out. The video, the screenshots, the messages, the corroborating statements from coworkers. Madison's face drained with every word. Her lawyer tried the usual. Emotional distress, pressure, miscommunication. But the court wasn't here for her feelings. It was here for facts. And I had them all. When it ended, I walked past her without a word. But she grabbed my sleeve. Boyd, do you still think about me? I turned slowly, looked her in the eyes, and answered truthfully. Every time I see a dumpster. She didn't reply. I walked away for good.